Hello everyone and welcome back to our GreenScenario tutorial series. In this episode we're looking at the storage component. And so here we have it connected and we have different types of storage. So the default one is a cistern, then we have a geogrid component, and then we have a rigole component, which is essentially a gravel-filled underground component. And you can see, pay attention to the porosity value over here. If we choose different types, you can see that the porosity automatically changes. It can, however, be overridden using a slider over here. And we can also, by default, the depth of the storage element. So if it will be a cistern with 100% porosity, essentially what this means is that we have 100% of the volume of the cistern is dedicated to storage, right? So it's probably a concrete element and it's hollow. When we have this geogrid, it's one of these plastic crates, and 10% of its volume, or maybe it's 5%, depending on the manufacturer, is actually taken by the structure of the storage itself. And with the rigole component, we actually have a lot of gravel inside, and only the pores in between the little pebbles can be used for water storage, and therefore the porosity over here is very low. So you can see the storage volume of this element is only 31 cubic meters, but a cistern is 82 for the same footprint. And of course, there's different costs associated with it. Rigole is much cheaper, than a cistern, but it does take more space. So you need to look into optimizing your designs against that. You can also define the depth of it, and obviously with the depth, the storage volume increases. And as we mentioned in other videos already, there is some contribution of a cistern element to having temporary detention volume. So the bigger the cistern, the more detention volume it can provide. And again, like with a different type of this storage element, it will be less as well. You also have a choice to say, is it an underground object, or is it something that is above ground? And then you would see that not only the visual appearance changes, but also it would then have a contribution to its runoff, to the overall site runoff. What do we use storage elements for? They allow us to perform calculations of potable water savings. And for these to work, they actually need to have two inputs, and one of them would be what is the catchment area that they can capture water from, and these are rooftops of different buildings, and the other one would be what is the use of water, and this can be either in a building or it can be in a landscape, in a green area that is needed for irrigation. But let's look at it in a different dedicated video. But now we understand how to introduce different types of storage into the drawing.